Making headlines this hour, President states all citizens work together and prioritize the development needed for the country. Foreign Ministry holds a multi-sectoral consultations in the implementation of the Programme of Action adopted by OIC for the years 2015 to 2025. And Maldivian Embassy issues a caution to Maldivians following the announcement of protests to be held across Sri Lanka.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome you all to PSM News in English. I'm Zihunat Hassan here with the news in details. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom arrives back in Mali City on conclusion of his visit to some islands of Alif Atoll, Alif Dal Atoll and Dalu Atoll. During the tour, President Yamin inaugurated harbour and initiated the water service in Dangeti. The President also marked the completion of road development project in Mahibadu and inaugurated the sewerage services in Mamigili. He also visited Mathiveri, Toddu and Kudahodu as part of the two-day tour. Highlighting the fact that every community desires development, President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom states all citizens work together and prioritize the development needed for the country. President Abdullah Yamin made the remarks while speaking at the ceremony held to inaugurate the sewerage service system in Mamigili in Alif Dal Atoll. At the ceremony, the President unveiled the monument placed to commemorate the inauguration of the project. Speaking at the ceremony, the President highlighted the groundbreaking progress the administration has brought to the nation in the past 5 years. The President especially underscored the development projects conducted in the islands and briefed about future development plans. In this regard, the President stated upgrading Mamigili Hospital, establishing a branch of Bank of Maldives and constructing the road networks in Mamigili were all part of his plans for the future. Further, the President called upon the people to stop working against progress and to reflect on the benefits gained from every development project. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom visited Mamigili as part of his two-day visit to some islands of Alif Atoll, Alif Dal Atoll and Dalu Atoll. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom states the hopes and aspirations of the people are formulated as a result of their own work, and the development the country sees today is the result of that hope. President Abdullah Yamin made the remarks while speaking at the function to meet the people of Kudahodu in Dalu Atoll. Speaking in this regard, President Yamin underscored the development projects conducted in the country and briefed about future development plans. The President emphasized the innovative developmental projects conducted in the educational sector of Maldives. The President noted providing tablets for students which would replace textbooks in the future was part of the efforts for innovative means of progress in the sector. He also called upon the people to stand up together to protect the sovereignty, unique culture, religion and patriotism of the country. Furthermore, addressing the citizens of Kudahodu, President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom revealed plans to develop a regional trade port in the island if he secures a second term in office. The President noted the government has spent $45.5 million for the development of the island in the past 5 years. Speaking at the function, the President also pledged to reclaim land for Maimbudu. He highlighted the opposition coalition is pledging projects for the islands which they failed to initiate when former President Mohammad Nasheed was in office. President Yamin visited Kudahodu as part of his two-day visit to some islands of Alif Atoll, Alif Dal Atoll and Dalu Atoll. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Mohammad Asim sends a letter of congratulations to Michelle Bachelet on assuming her new post as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. In his letter, Foreign Minister Asim reiterated the importance of dialogue and constructive engagement between member states and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR. The Foreign Minister assures Maldives would always remain ready to consult and engage with the office both at the Human Rights Council and domestically on important matters relating to the promotion and protection of human rights. Minister Asim highlighted the huge strides Maldives has taken in the area of empowerment of women, gender equality, rights of the child and rights of persons with disabilities. The Foreign Minister reassured the new High Commissioner the government of Maldives would continue to engage with the Council and its mechanisms and procedures, including the Universal Periodic Review process. He also noted the government has in the past welcomed teams from OHCHR to visit Maldives with a view to strengthening the domestic processes and enhancing capacity building of institutions, and in this regard, the government would remain engaged with her office in the promotion and the protection of human rights. Ministry of Foreign Affairs holds a multi-sectoral consultation with government stakeholders in the implementation of the program of action adopted by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) for the years 2015 to 2025. The OIC 2025 program of action was developed on the basis of the vision and principles as enshrined in the Charter of the OIC and manifests a renewed commitment by the OIC member states, all institutions in the OIC system, international partners and other stakeholders in working together for a better tomorrow. The purpose of the consultation was to provide an interactive dialogue with the key stakeholders on the activities to be carried out in the implementation of the goals of program of action. Maldives became a member of OIC in 1976, a few years after its inception. Maldives is fully committed in upholding the principles of the Charter of the organization and has been contributing immensely towards the unity and solidarity of the global Islamic community. Ambassador of UK to Maldives James Dorris pays a courtesy call on the Foreign Secretary Ahmed Sarir. During the meeting held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Foreign Secretary and the Ambassador focused on ways to further strengthen and enhance the existing bilateral relations between the two countries and also held discussions on the upcoming presidential election. The Ambassador was accompanied by Second Secretary of British Embassy in Colombo, Philippe Dickinson. The Embassy of Maldives in Sri Lanka issues a caution to Maldivians residing in Sri Lanka following the announcement of protests to be held across Sri Lanka. In a statement, the embassy advised all Maldivians to avoid crowded areas as announcements have been sent out in Sri Lanka alerting about protests which will take place from September 5th to 7th. Moreover, the embassy urged to refrain from attending public places and to be extremely cautious. The embassy asked Maldivians to be extra careful about transportation and said the consular services will be available to offer any assistance. Maldives participates in the 71st session of the WHO Regional Committee for Southeast Asia. A senior delegation from Ministry of Health is representing Maldives in the meeting held in New Delhi, India from September 3rd to 7th. According to Health Ministry, at the sidelines of the meeting, bilateral discussions will be held with partner countries, including a meeting with the WHO Regional Director, Dr. Poonam Khetrapal Singh. In the WHO Regional Director's annual report, Dr. Poonam Khetrapal Singh highlighted Maldives' work towards disease elimination, achievements in maternal and child health, and progress towards Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), and remarkable progress towards universal health coverage. The annual regional committee session is attended by delegations from 11 countries in the region. Minister of Legal Affairs at President's Office, Azima Shakur, reveals former President Mohammad Nasheed calling for military intervention in Maldives will cause a sensitive situation and the country may be drawn into a war between world powers. Speaking on a program aired on PSM News, Legal Affairs Minister Azima Shakur stated Mohammad Nasheed is exerting major efforts to dissolve his 13-year jail sentence following his command to illegally arrest a judge by deploying the military when he was in power. In this regard, Azima Shakur highlighted Nasheed has continuously tried to influence and disrupt the economic growth and the internal matters of the country. Azima expressed dismay when a politically influential figure such as the former president is ready to assist in the efforts of foreign powers interested in military intervention. Expressing concerns, Azima said Maldives does not have the capacity to face an economic war or a military war with any country. On conclusion, she called for collective efforts to maintain peace and stability in Maldives, noting to gain success in the political arena, the opposition is threatening the national security of the country. Acting Managing Director of Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation, MMPRC, Haris Mohammed reveals many opportunities have been provided by the current administration to enhance and develop youth photographers. Addressing the ceremony held to sign photography ambassadors, Haris Mohammed said the government exerts major efforts to enhance the youth, aiding under the policy of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom. Only Maldivians are given the opportunity to work in the creative industry of the country. Meanwhile, photographers who signed as photography ambassadors of MMPRC expressed gratitude towards the projects initiated by the government for youth. The Visit Maldives Photography Ambassador Program is an initiative where the selected ambassadors will be traveling to resorts, liveaboards and guest houses that are members of MMPRC to execute theme-based photographic projects. This year, MMPRC signed 6 photographers, which includes Muhammad Ajfar Naji, Shafraz Naim, Ali Muhammad, Yusuf Khalil, Dan Zidan Ibrahim and Muhammad Miwan as ambassadors. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Mohammad Muiz reveals Mali Ring Road will be open for traffic on September 6th. In a tweet, Housing Minister Muiz stated road marking and lighting installation are currently underway on the Ring Road. In addition, the Housing Minister revealed efforts are also underway to connect the road to Burta Kurufanu Magu. The development of Mali Ring Road with the latest facilities commenced earlier this month. The Ring Road is developed with 4 lanes mirroring the lanes on Sinamale Bridge. The project is one of the crucial projects initiated by the government to ease transportation and to minimize traffic jamming in Mali City with the inauguration of the bridge. Meanwhile, the Housing Ministry has also announced the Sinamale Bridge will be open for traffic on September 7th. Asanda Company Limited reveals National Health Insurance Scheme Asanda will be available from Treetop Hospital, similar to other private hospitals and clinics in the Maldives. Asanda Company said the National Health Insurance Scheme was only available once a patient is admitted in Treetop Hospital, adding the insurance scheme is now available for all patients attaining services from the hospital in Hulumale. Treetop Hospital is the biggest ever investment in health sector of Maldives by a private entity. The hospital was developed at a cost of over $800 million by Treetop Investment Private Limited. Housing Development Corporation HDC launches Asia's first 100% gigabit-enabled smart city in Hulmale. During the ceremony held in the exhibition center of HDC head office, Dubai-based Kelix Service was contracted to create the Asia's first 100% gigabit-enabled smart city in Hulmale. In this regard, the agreement was signed by Managing Director of HDC Ahmad Nasif and Area Vice President of Kelix Services Stefan Aire. Speaking with PSM News, Managing Director Nasif said the fiber network established under the project will ease the living in Hulmale. Meanwhile, Area Vice President Aire stated the project will also boost the tourism of the country. According to HDC, in partnership with Kelix Service, the network will look at best practice to create a world-class infrastructure to capitalize on the youth city vision of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom. HDC revealed GPON fiber will give unrivaled opportunities for the youth with a multitude of smart city services. HDC extended belief a gigabyte society will accelerate foreign investment with new innovative startups, global tech collaboration, information technology parks and global companies, and hence Hulmale will drive new economic diversification of opportunities for Maldives. And now we look into the latest news updates from international arena. Chinese President Xi Jinping offers another $60 billion in financing for Africa and writes off some debt for poorer African nations while warning against funds going towards vanity projects.
Speaking at the opening of a major summit with African leaders, Chinese President Xi Jinping promised development that people on the continent could see and touch, but that would also be green and sustainable. China has denied engaging in debt trap diplomacy, and Xi's offer of more money comes after a pledge of another $60 billion at the previous summit in South Africa 3 days ago. Addressing leaders at Beijing Great Hall of the People, Xi said the new $60 billion will include $15 billion of aid, interest-free loans and concessional loans, a credit line of $20 billion, a $10 billion special fund for China-Africa development, and a $5 billion special fund for imports from Africa. Chinese companies will be encouraged to invest no less than $10 billion in the continent in the next 3 years. Government debt from China's interest-free loans due to the end of 2018 will be written off for indebted poor African countries, as well as for developing nations in the continent's interior and small island nations. Beijing has also fended off criticism it is only interested in resource extraction to feed its own booming economy, that the projects it funds have poor environmental safeguards, and that too many of the workers for them are flown in from China rather than using African labor.
Founder of the militant Haqqani network, Jalaluddin Haqqani, one of the most powerful and feared groups in the Afghan insurgency, has died after a long illness.
A Taliban statement said Jalaluddin Haqqani had been ill and bedridden for several years before passing away. Haqqani, who founded the network in the 1970s, relinquished operational leadership of the group some years ago to his son Sirajuddin Haqqani, who is now deputy leader of the Afghan Taliban. Haqqani rose to prominence as a guerrilla leader in the US-backed campaign against Soviet forces occupying Afghanistan, but later allied himself with the Taliban, fighting American troops after the Taliban were ousted in 2001. His group became known for complex, well-organized attacks on both Afghan and US military, as well as civilian targets and high-profile kidnappings. With Sirajuddin Haqqani in operational charge, it was not immediately clear what direct impact Jalaluddin Haqqani's death would have on the insurgent movement. The Taliban statement said he had been ill and bedridden for several years before passing away.
In sports, World Football Governing Body announces Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric and Mohamed Salah have been nominated as finalists for the Best FIFA Men's Player Award.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who has won the award for the last 2 years, helped Real Madrid claim a third consecutive Champions League crown before securing a transfer to Juventus. Midfielder Luka Modric, also part of Madrid's Champions League triumph, finished runner-up with Croatia at the World Cup, winning the Best Player award at the tournament in Russia. Egyptian forward Mohamed Salah scored 44 goals for Liverpool last season, helping the English club reach the Champions League final where they were beaten by Real. France's World Cup winning captain Hugo Lloris is in contention for the Goalkeeper of the Year award alongside Golden Glove winner Thibaut Courtois and Danish shortstopper Kasper Schmeichel. Former Real Madrid boss Zinedine Zidane, France coach Didier Deschamps and Croatia's Zlatko Dalic were on the shortlist for Coach of the Year award. The award ceremony will take place in London on the 24th of September.
With that, we conclude the news for this bulletin. Thanks for joining us and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.